Ondiro, walk us through some of the impact that we have seen right now across the continent and what you've been looking at.
Hi, Jen. So the impact is going to be felt across different sectors. You have infrastructure, mining, healthcare, particularly the long-standing HIV program. Take South Africa, for example, 17% of their budget for HIV program come from aid. And if that is taken away, then the government has to find a way of plugging that hole. South Africa can be able to absorb this financial shock. They can keep the medication going, but then the staffers are not replaceable. That takes away the expertise. It takes away the institutional memory and also the understanding of how the healthcare system works. If we zoom in on Kenya, they received $630 million in aid last year. $180 million went into treating HIV and AIDS. And USAID has employed over 40,000 healthcare workers, taking care of 1.2 million people living with HIV. And now the Kenyan government fears that if this aid is taken away, they have to go into the development kitty to tap into that and ensure that they keep bankrolling these healthcare programs. Infrastructure is also likely to be affected. The Lobito corridor, for example, linking the copper and cobalt mines from DRC and Zambia all the way to the port in Angola so that they can go a long way in revolutionizing the green industry in America, particularly EV. And now there's fears that this project is under threat from funding cuts as funding for studies, technical services and payment have been frozen. And while Africa is counting the cost from losing aid, there's something to be said about also what America is going to lose. Money and influence go hand in hand. President John Mahama was talking about soft influence. China is doing it through infrastructure. UAE is leading in pledges. Russia is doing paramilitary support in Francophone West Africa. So if the U.S. leaves, there's a vacuum that many other players are very happy to fill.
Thanks so much, Ondiro Oganga there in Kigali. Now, somebody who actually has a different perspective on this whole situation is Busi Mavuso. She's the CEO of the business leadership here in South Africa. Here's a part of what she told us.
How do we then, increase intra-African trade, as a continent? How do we invest in our own infrastructure? How do we invest in our own supply chains, so that there isn't this huge dependence, on other economies, but how do we actually move away from this mentality, of going out there with a begging bowl as Africa?